Hey, it's Taj, the other Jeff Johnson, and this is week 5 since I learned that I have cancer. Thanks for joining me on the journey. This was a very productive week that ended with a big disappointment, but also a promising development. The biggest news from this week is that I have secured a place to live while I'm in Houston for my treatments. The apartment complex is off the beaten path, but it's also less than 3 miles from MD Anderson. It's a gated community, which is important living in downtown Houston, or any big city's downtown for that matter. The complex also has a shuttle that runs to MD Anderson 9 times a day. As a backup, it's also a short walk to the city bus, which stops at MD Anderson's front door. Now that's important because later on in treatment, I may not feel up to driving, so I do have options to get transport back and forth. But those details are not the most exciting thing about getting this apartment. You see, I'd called this complex last week, and they didn't have anything available. So Monday, I was going through the Joe's House list. That's the nonprofit organization that lists all of the medical housing that's available at all of the major medical centers around the country. And I was calling everyone again. So when Emily answered the phone, she said, "Oh, yes, Mr. Johnson, we talked last week. I don't think we have anything available still, but let me check." After a short pause, Emily said, "That's interesting. It looks like we just had a cancellation. You're in luck." I didn't say anything, but I thought to myself, no, Emily, luck had nothing to do with it. This is just one more of the many times that God has intervened to provide for me during my brief relationship with cancer. I've been calling them God winks, and there have been a lot of them. As a matter of fact, I probably need to make a whole video just about all of the God winks. Now, on Thursday, I traveled back to Houston for a CT scan of my chest, a dentist appointment to have my radiation stent and heavy-duty fluoride trays made, and a very thorough examination of my hearing. That was fun. The audiologist told me that I do have some hearing loss in the extreme upper ranges, but she said everyone who is, quote, starting to get older loses that range of hearing. If you remember back in the early 2000s, there was this thing called the mosquito ringtone. Google it, find it on YouTube, it's hilarious. More than likely, if you're over 35 or 40 years old, you can't hear it, okay? Other than that, she said I have, quote, X-ray hearing, and told me no one over 35 hears some of the things that I heard during the test. She was shocked when I told her that I have attended hundreds of concerts, played drums for 45 years, and been a target shooter all of my adult life. Then I pulled my earplugs, which I carry with me literally everywhere, out of my pocket, and she said, "Oh, you, sir, have taken very good care of your hearing." So thanks to my dad for always making me wear hearing protection when we went shooting and for harassing me about wearing earplugs when I went to concerts. I thought you were just being a wimp, Dad, but once again, you were smarter than me. The conversation with the dentist was pretty standard, except when we started talking about side effects. Radiation to the neck can really do a number on your taste buds, your salivary glands, your teeth, your jawbone, your blood pressure, and many other things that can really affect your daily quality of life. So I mentioned that I'd read and heard a lot of survivors complaining about long-term side effects. The dentist said, do me a favor. When you search neck radiation and side effects on Google, add MD Anderson in quotes to the end of your search. He said, read and listen to what our survivors have to say about side effects. I think you'll feel a little bit better about your prospects. And I did that, and he was right. It just made me realize how seriously MD Anderson takes quality of life after treatment, especially for someone with a 20 to 30 year life expectancy after their cancer. That helped calm my nerves quite a bit. I was supposed to have my first chemotherapy treatment on Friday afternoon after the dental and audiology appointments, but that got canceled. No one could tell me why until late Friday afternoon while I was driving home. I finally got a chance to talk to the nurse practitioner in the office. My medical oncologist, the doctor who's responsible for my chemotherapy, found a clinical trial that I probably qualify for that may offer me a number of good things. A shorter treatment window, even if only by a few days, a different chemo medication or a different formulation of the medicine we were talking about using. And the best news, similar effectiveness and fewer or reduced severity of side effects. Even after they'd made their initial treatment plan, they kept looking for ways to de-escalate the treatment in order to improve my future quality of life. This is why, if you have a rare, unusual cancer, you go to MD Anderson. This coming week, things get a little busier and a lot more serious. I will have my radiation mask made. This looks like a plastic version of chainmail armor that they will put over my head and shoulders to hold me in perfect position on the table to keep me from moving around so we don't radiate anything we don't want to. I'll go over my entire treatment plan with my radiation oncologist. He's the medical doctor in charge of my treatment. And I'll meet with my medical oncologist to discuss that clinical trial for chemo. I have more lab work, more tests, more meetings about other clinical trials that I might be eligible for. Somewhere in the middle of all of that, I'm going to move into the apartment and try to work at least 40 hours so that I can stop losing sick leave and vacation time. Now, I want to brag on my team leader at work. She has been amazing about authorizing me to work from home as much as possible while I'm in treatment. Please pray that I can stay healthy and that I'll be able to do that so that our income isn't cut by me missing work without sick time to cover the absences. If the schedule holds, it looks like I'll start treatment on May 7th. That's if everything goes perfectly, and I mean perfectly. And if that follows through my entire course of treatment, I could finish as early as June 15th. Now, just being realistic, a more realistic date is probably June 22nd. That's pretty much it. As always, I welcome your questions or comments. I'll respond as I'm able, with the caveat that I am not a medical professional and I don't play one on social media, so no medical questions, please. But understand, I am happy to share just about anything regarding my journey with cancer. If you're not aware yet, I have named my tumor FRED. That stands for Feeble Radiation Eating Disease. And I've created a Facebook group called Let's Kill Fred. If you're not watching this video on Facebook, if you found me on YouTube and you'd like more frequent updates on what's happening than these weekly videos, just request to join that Facebook group. It's called Let's Kill Fred. That is officially the update for this week. The next time we talk, I'll be coming to you from sunny Houston, Texas, home of the Astros, the Texans, the fourth location of Pete's Dueling Piano Bar, and the world's greatest cancer-killing team at the UT MD Anderson Cancer Center. Have a great week, and let's kill Fred.